Hi there, welcome. It's Karen Luniw from the Law of Attraction Center, and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. So, welcome to your 2017 Law of Attraction tips. I've got 5 for you today. And these come as a result of things that I've bumped up against this year, and a lot of my clients have bumped up against this year. And so, I want to share them with you because I think as we go into 2017, if we become aware of these and can start to shift and change them, we will be in a much better place for attracting what we want this year. So the first one is, and it's a really important one, is don't catch the conclusion virus. So what do I mean by that? Well, so many times other people's conclusions, the conclusions that they've come to, or the stories that they have, are things that we actually adopt or we feel like they're kind of being imposed upon us. So an example might be if you work if you're in a workplace and somebody, your boss or a coworker or somebody has a point of view about you, a conclusion, they've come to a conclusion about you, and they talk to other people about it or they share it with you, and you know it's not true. Okay, so here's the thing, and so that's one example. Another example could be in your family, where your family members might think that maybe they might think you're a bad driver, or you're clumsy, or you're not very good at certain things. You're not good with money. All those kinds of things. But what happens when we take on that conclusion, that story? Like with everything, what we focus on grows. What our energy is around this grows. So even if we don't kind of believe it, but we have that as a subconscious belief or an energy in us, and it's an energy that's kind of trapped in our field, what ends up happening is we attract more of that. And just the way our subconscious mind works is that if that exists in us in any way, shape, or form, our subconscious mind kind of scans the environment to find evidence of it, and so we keep getting evidence that maybe we are clumsy, or maybe we aren't good with money, and we keep validating that. But what I'm here to tell you is that other people's stories are not your story. So what you want to do is get it, just as one thing to do is just get centered, come back to the reality of who you are. Just stop, breathe, and know who you are and what the reality is of you, and that you can actually choose in any moment to be and do something different. Okay, so that's number one. Don't catch the conclusion virus. All right. Number two, take action on what you resist the most. And I have to tell you, this is something I have to learn over and over and over again. Years and years ago, I was told that I should be teaching, and I should be teaching people. I should get up in front of classes, or however it was at that point. And I resisted that like the plague. It was like, no way, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting up and speaking in front of people. Are you kidding me? And of course, that shifted and changed. I did start doing it. I did start teaching, and that's why I'm here today. And what a shame it would have been if I hadn't done this, because I wouldn't be able to have made the impact that I've had on the people's lives that I have had impact on. And it is because I got out and did what I resisted the most. And I've done that a number of times this year. You have to keep stepping outside of your comfort zone. There's a difference between, oh, I just don't have that preference, versus, no. It's kind of like one of those things where you're supposed to do it, it's something you should do, but you just don't want to do it because you think you want to do something, it should happen a different way. And so what happens is that if you keep getting these messages that that you need to be doing something and you keep resisting it, it's just the universe saying, hey, go with the flow, easy way is this way. And so that's what you want to do, is you want to pay attention to those things that you actually really resist. Something you should do, just do it. Keep stepping outside of your comfort zone. And when you do that, the rewards are huge. On the other side of that resistance is big, big gains. So again, number two is take action on what you resist the most. 3, trust. And so with a lot of my clients, this is a big, big issue. When they're doing all these things right, and they're trying to shift and change, and they keep clearing out the blocks that are stopping them from attracting what they want. Lots of us get impatient, right? And so what you want to do is just step back into trust and know that you do not have to control everything. And trusting also means that you don't have to be doing all the time, okay? So even though I just talked about taking action on the things you resist, so many of us just do busy stuff. We stay busy, we are busy because we don't trust. We don't trust that the universe has our back. So, and if we don't trust that the universe has our back and that we have to keep doing and doing and doing in order to create what it is that we want in our life, then we're not co-creating. We're actually just creating. And I can tell you without a doubt that when you go into co-creation, things come much, much faster. So what that requires is for you to step back and trust and get out of controlling and get out of that sense of you have to do it all on your own. There's a time when you have to sit back and kind of go, okay, universe, show me. I've done what I need to do. I've done all the things that feel like they're the next required action. So now let's get into the flow and I'm ready for you to bring it on. All right. So that's trust. And so trust requires you actually just again to sit back and go into awareness, or just be open to receiving. So that brings me to number 4, which is awareness. What I see so much these days is that people are just tuned out. They are just totally engrossed. They've got their headset on. They're focused on their phone. And they're not aware of their surroundings. They're just completely oblivious to their surroundings. So much so, a number of years ago, what ended up happening is I was driving down a street. It was a Sunday morning. It was early, and it was a narrow street. It was a quiet street. Lots of cars on both sides, condos on both sides, and it was a beautiful sunny morning. And a woman, maybe in her 30s, probably had her headset in. And I think she was exercising or something, or she was going to yoga. I don't know what it was. But anyways, she just was totally tuned out. She stepped out into the street as I'm driving, stepped out into the street right in front of me. Now I was going slow, but she didn't even look. Like she didn't even look. And she couldn't hear me because of course she was, listening to something. And she walked straight down the middle of the road, and I was really interested in this because I wanted to see how long she was actually going to do this for. And I also didn't want to beat the horn and scare her either because she walked out right in front of me and was totally unaware that I was there. And it took probably a good 30, 45 seconds, maybe a minute or so, that before she actually turned around and went, oh, she didn't have any awareness that I was there. And I see this all the time, and I think that's why there are so many accidents with people, being tuned out, right? So for one thing, and just in terms of pure safety, being unaware of your surroundings is dangerous, right? But I think it's also kind of dangerous in life. If you are so tuned into something else, so focused on something and not being present, not being aware of your surroundings, and or also being so committed. This is another way that we do this and get out of awareness, is that we are so tapped into our own points of view, our own conclusions, our own interest in being right about something, that we can't actually even be aware. So and so what ends up happening, or we have such a story about something, we can't actually be aware of other possibilities, other things to be aware of. And so what happens is that then we can't attract. We can't even listen to that intuition. We all have intuition. We are all intuitive, but we don't necessarily really tap into that because we're feeding ourselves all the time with this stuff. We're not actually listening to our guidance. We're not listening to our surroundings. We're not listening to our sensory capabilities that are there actually to show us and guide us along the way, and so then we can actually put ourselves in places where we can attract more. So stepping into awareness just allows us, or being in awareness allows us to actually see things as they are, be aware of our surroundings, and then take clues from that. There's clues and signs around us all the time. Usually, again, the universe, the way it speaks is in very soft, subtle touches to begin with. But if you're tapped in, if you're tuned into something else, you're not going to hear it. So awareness is number 4. Well, Karen, how do I get into awareness? Well, that leads me to number 5, which is the last one, our last attraction tip today, which is to be still. And it's not even that you have to be totally still and meditate. You can do that, and I would recommend that highly. But it's just turning everything off, and not turning everything off so you just snooze out and go to sleep. It's turning everything off and just being aware, being in nature, being present in your awareness of your surroundings, and just being quiet, being still. Now, the other thing that you could do is you could be doing something that's just very mundane, vacuuming, doing dishes. I'm always amazed because our dishwasher just broke down not too long ago. It was out for a couple of days and we actually had to do dishes. Who does that? So anyways, I don't do that. I rarely do dishes. But what it did is it actually stopped me because I couldn't, there's no TV in front of me. I'm not listening to something. I don't have, headphones in. I'm not in front of my computer. And so what it did is, as I'm doing stuff, and it's, again, it's mundane, but what it allowed me to do was my mind quieted. And so what it did is all of a sudden these new ideas come in, and these new ideas and thoughts, show up. And I can start thinking about things in a different way. Or again, you hear your guidance. Again, we are all intuitive. We just don't listen. And so by being still, by quieting your mind for a little bit, again, new information comes in. If you ever wonder why people have their greatest ideas in the shower, is that it's because there's nothing else going around except that, they're just doing the mundane things of getting their body all washed up and doing their hair. But that's why it is because your mind is still, it's not being fed all this constant information that we're always getting. And so if you can kind of tune out of that and be still, quiet your mind, and just allow yourself to be aware of those slight universal touches of information, of just guidance, amazing things happen. So that's your tips for today, for 2017. So the 5 tips are: don't let the conclusion virus get you. Take action on what you resist the most. Number 3 is trust. Number 4, awareness, be in awareness. And 5, be still. So when you do that, again, what you focus on grows. Everything is energy, and what you pay attention to you start to change it by just paying attention to it. So I'll leave you with that. And in the meantime, go out and have a wonderful, wonderful 2017, and come join me. Come join me on the Law of Attraction Center on Facebook. Also the lawofattractiontips.com, where you can get all my other podcasts. There's 60 plus podcasts there. But come and join us for the conversation on Facebook. Not just my Facebook page, but we've got a private Facebook group. It's called the Law of Attraction Center, and it's on Facebook. And we would love to have you there, because we have a great group. We have conversations. I'm always asking questions, always kind of answering some questions. So would love to have you there. Have a great 2017, and have just an incredible year of wow. Bye-bye.